While this video certainly is about the Nachmund box, it's not a traditional comment on the release articles. If that's what you're after, there are probably one or two suggestions up to you, right? But if you do have a slight interest in why I believe this could be the first box that actually makes sense, stick around for a moment. I try to keep my videos short and to the point. The reason I do this video now is that as the third box arrives, I finally get the intention of the box format. I also understand what I find lacking. Regarding the content of the Nachmund box, we've seen it before. Two bespoke teams, of which one is an upgraded sprue. Those come with a tan board, reprinted terrain, and a lore book. Or is that me getting it all wrong for half a year? I've been quite annoyed about the idea of having to buy an entire box just to get the one team I'm interested in. I've seen it as a tactical thing to get people to overbuy because they cannot keep their fingers away for 3 months, which probably is still true. Unless of course they don't do the train by themselves and happen to have a friend who wants the other team. In my case, it has just delayed my purchases, but I might be in a minority there. This time it's a bit different, and I do have a friend who is interested, and there will be a buy. Therefore, I had another look at the terrain. I noticed some hatches, and the text explained that there would be something about moving underground and toxic plumes. And suddenly, it all made sense. I did get it wrong. You see, I've almost entirely been focusing on the kill teams, and I'm probably not alone in that. This is how I've seen the boxes so far. Team 1, Team 2, board, terrain, and book. The evaluation so far has thus been Octarius, Vetguard. They do look awesome, but I will kit bash them, so I actually only need the rules. Orcs, they're also interesting, but these will also be kitted. Terrain, I don't really like it. Book, well, I need the rules, so I'll probably buy that one, and I did. Chalnath, Tau. It's the wrong Tau. I want the long rifles with the helmets on. The sisters? No. Terrain? I do like it, but I have no use for it. The book? Well, once again, it's rules and fluff, of which I have no real interest. Nachmund. Chaos Marines? Yes. Some say it's lazy of Games Workshop to make upgrade sprues, but I don't mind. They were already next in line, and I think the god thing looks really nice. It could very well be a lore addition that does make a in-game difference at a very reasonable level. I haven't looked at other reviews, but I'm probably not the first to point out that it really smells like beta test of the Space Marine chapters. I wouldn't mind if the tactical Marines got its own way, but they probably won't do that because I guess plenty of people will be upset that the Space Marines don't get something fancier. Well, perhaps out of topic, in general I actually think the delay in Space Marines' bespoke team is a good thing. Hopefully it means that the game developers will have a much better understanding of the game in the wild before such an important faction is released. But enough of that sidetrack. Back to Nachmund. The Eldar. I love the theme of the space elf pirates, but I cannot tolerate the aesthetics. It looks like, seashells stuck on a stick. Fortunately my friend doesn't mind, so he will get those. Terrain is meh. Pipes could be useful in any setting, I guess, but those high towers, they just look like something you would get stuck in and fall over and mess up the board for no apparent in-game value. Book is as usual, it's rules and fluff. But if you instead flip it around, it all makes much more sense. The lore book is the center of the package. It tells you why the terrain looks like it does, and why these teams are fighting over it. I know, they've said so in every revealing article, but still, I only saw the teams so far. The reason why the plumes and hatches helped me was that this was the first time it seemed a bit special for this world. Sure, when fighting in an orc encampment there will be piles of rubble, but that's also true for any warzone in general. I kind of buy it, and I have nothing really against adding additional complementary rules as the game moves along. But then we have the Chalnath box. The features that define the Chalnath sector is that you can climb ladders and move through doors. Really? Even in a grimdark science fiction universe, it's kind of core to move through doors. That is nothing that makes the Chalnath world unique, and I certainly don't want to look that up on a separate piece of paper. Hatches to underground tunnels might not be entirely unique for the Nachmund world, but sure it's more specific to the terrain. Perhaps even more so the toxic plumes, depending on their implementation. And while this certainly is a step in the right direction, I actually think it could be even more specific to the lore of the world. A planet, system, space place, where it's very cold, has low gravity, or there are carnivorous plants. Stuff that only applies to this world and never make it into the core rules. If you and your opponent want to play the mission pack for the Valhalla Ice World, perhaps all crits cause a mortal wound. It might be way too strong and unbalanced, but perhaps the included teams are very balanced on this point. This was just the first random example I came up with, but hopefully you get my point. It should be something that affects your list building and tactics, in a way beyond what moving through doors does. That way, the core game is one thing, and the boxes are spice, and could be thought of this way. Lorebook, with matching terrain and 2 teams. The teams are fully separate units, with 1 set of plastic and booklet each. They are selected to be in the box because they will balance well in the setting. The clear separation is both to make things less weird when they get sold separately, which in the long run will be the main way of purchase, or if you both want to keep the book at home to do some theory crafting, or for that matter, if you and your friend each want to go play with someone else. Simply put, even if I now get the point of the boxes, I really think putting the team rules in a bundle is a rather stupid idea. This is my idea of how it all would make perfect sense. Speaking of buying separate teams, I will mention the price, even though I find it rather uninteresting. At first I thought I would not, but explaining this all to my skeptical self, I realized I should mention why, because it's quite tightly related to bundle boxes of all kinds. I don't know if the price has been revealed yet, and I don't really care, but I assume it will be on level with Chalnath and Octarius. The thing I want to mention is the difference in price and value. I'm no professor in economics, so my terms might be wrong, but this is what I mean. The price is quite simple. It is the price tag, and it tells you how much money you need to buy it. It does not have to have anything to do with value. Value is how useful it is. We're not selling gas in Britain here. These plastic toys have no real-world utility value, and therefore the value is highly personal. The base value of all these things is 0, and it's only your personal interest that can bring it up. So, if anyone, Games Workshop or not, tells you that this box is pricey or great value, don't listen. Start the other way around. What in the box will I use? Excluding white lies to yourself. It does help to have a quick look at your pile of shame here. Disregard all other crap in the box and evaluate the price purely on the base of the things you will use. Then ask yourself, are you willing to pay this price for getting that or those things right away? If so, yes, go get it. I'm not against paying good money for few things, as long as you're aware of what you're paying for. I still left some stuff out, to keep it concise, but these are my main thoughts about the boxes in general, and Nachmund in particular. As always, I'm highly interested in divergent thoughts, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy your hobby.